Welcome to the Engineering, Emotions, and Energy podcast with your host, Justin Wink. I am Justin Wink. Feel free to find me on Facebook. The way you spell my name is easy as a bat of the eye, but with an E, W-E-N-C-K. So on today's episode, we are going to be talking about what exactly do I mean by engineering your emotions and your energy. And I'm also going to talk about how I've been engineering getting out of the post-holiday winter funk. So what exactly do I mean by engineering emotions and energy? So my background is in engineering. I have a Ph.D. in electrical engineering, and I've been working in the technology field for almost 10 years now. And to me, one of the big differences between science and engineering is that science is really about, to me, it's an investigation of what is the truth of how something works, how something interacts, what something is. Whereas engineering is more, let's take what is and create what it is we would like to have. How do we take what is and make it something that is even better, that fulfills some need, some requirement, or it's just fun, or just really cool. And in the traditional engineering disciplines, we're usually trying to make something very concrete in this world, trying to engineer a bridge, trying to engineer semiconductors, trying to engineer new material compound. And that's a very intellectual endeavor, all with the intellect, all with the mind. And it misses some very important parts of humanity. Engineering ultimately should be to serve humanity. And often what we're missing is the most important aspects of humanity, which is our emotions and our energy. Our emotions very much connected to the body, how the body works. So I have a really great quote. My wife, she's been reading this book called Everything is Fucked, A Message of Hope, I believe. The author is Mark Manson. The book's called Everything is Fucked. It just had a really good quote on the importance of emotions. So he says, why don't we do the things we know we should do? It's because we don't feel like it. Every problem of self-control is not a problem of information or discipline or reason, but rather of emotion. Self-control is an emotional problem. Laziness is an emotional problem. Procrastination is an emotional problem. Underachievement is an emotional problem. Impulsiveness is an emotional problem. So if we're going to do what we actually want to do to have the life that we want to have, so we can feel the way we want to feel, we have to tackle our emotions. Our emotions are often felt in the body. It's a body-related sort of response. Like you get a gut feeling or you just didn't feel like it. Those are your emotions. So we really need to look at what our emotions are. So there's a little bit of the science of emotions, and then let's engineer them to be what we want more often and experiment. And so later on, I'm going to talk about how I've been doing this to get out of my post-holiday funk. So I really just, my wife read that and she's like, Justin, you gotta use this quote. And I was like, absolutely. So I haven't read the whole book. She's reading the book. So we'll see if I get to reading that book. So that's the emotional side of it, is that mind. Now we're talking about the body when it comes to emotions. And then energy is sort of that outward, connected to others, connected to something just more than ourselves. And I'll probably get a little bit more into that on another episode. So what we're going to be doing in this podcast is exploring how we can make sure that our emotions and our energy, which you can just take at the very base of how energetic do you feel when you wake up, do you feel like taking on the day, or you can get as deep down the rabbit hole as you want, the subtle bodies or energy and chakras and auras and that things, which we might get into as well. So I'm going to be sharing the things that I read, the things that I practice. I'm going to bring people on. We're going to interview them so that you can go on this journey with me and learn and grow and engineer your emotions and your energy so that you can have the life that you actually want. Because if you came into this podcast coming from a technical path or engineering path, however you got here, chances are you found that what you were promised has not delivered the life that you ultimately thought you would get by doing well, succeeding, getting the right job, doing the right things, following the rules, because there are two missing pieces that need to be engineered, not just the success of finances and work, but the success of how you are fulfilled through your emotional life and your energetic life. And that is what we're going to be doing here in this podcast. So now I'm going to talk about how I've been working to get out of my funk, because basically almost starting right after New Year's, it's 2020, January 11th as I record this, I was in a very negative state where I was thinking things just go wrong. I believed everything was going wrong, so things would go wrong. Fun was hard, work was hard, that there just wasn't much point to do anything. I was in a funk, and I was not fun to be around. I just didn't even want to try. And this is someplace where I'd been before in my life, and I've gotten much better at not setting up residence in this emotional state for too long. I view it as a temporary thing, and the goal is to be there as little amount of time, and ultimately want to ideally be there. Never would be ideal, but life happens. Sad things happen, bad things happen. And to me, it's not about preventing getting into a bad state. It's when you're there, how do you handle it? And I've been getting better at handling it. And this time I finally clicked that what's missing is daily mindfulness meditation practice, where I am priming myself with the emotions and the outlook and the vision for my future that I want to have. And it's interesting when you kind of know what it is you want out of life. Life will sort of bring it, because Vishen Lakhiani, the founder of Mind Valley, has re-released his top-selling book, The Code of the Extraordinary Mind. And I've done several Mind Valley programs. I hadn't read this book before, so I ordered the book, get into it, and a big part of the book is doing the 6-phase meditation. And I had come across the 6-phase meditation about a couple years ago, and it just didn't quite resonate with me at the time. I'd do it sometimes and not others, but I didn't really understand the importance or the power. But thanks to reading the book and some of the online exercises of the 6-phase meditation, where the 6 phases are, first is compassion. You get into a state of compassion and expand that forth to everybody. Second phase is the gratitude phase, where you're grateful for things that have happened in your life personally. You're grateful for things that have happened related to your professional life. And then you're grateful for just aspects of yourself, for who you are, what you bring to the table without anything external. Then the third phase is forgiveness. After that is vision for the future. What do you plan to achieve in the next 3 to 5 years? Phase 5 is planning out the perfect day before you actually go through the day. So you're training yourself to look for great things to happen. And then the 6th phase is a blessing or a prayer, however you want to take that in. And so I started doing this, and it's now been well over a week of continuously doing this. And it's been amazing how much better life has been. There's still been challenges, just I don't get stuck and focus on them. And I see the great things that are happening instead of ignoring the great things and focusing on the negatives that, I didn't get the exact closest spot. I go, well, this spot was actually still pretty good. And I get to enjoy the beautiful view as I walk and see the clouds as the sun starts to come out after the rain. So the spot worked out perfectly. Or this challenge at work, well, it was a challenge, but I got to find out that I'm really believed in, that I have a manager that is very helpful and going to give me the opportunity to solve this for myself. So after that, my outlook in just 1 week is already much, much improved. And as part of my funk, I was also having physical sickness as well, stuffy nose, fatigue, and that's also starting to go away. So I'm very excited I've started doing this Habit Bull web tracker app where you can put in pretty much any arbitrary habit and how you'd like to track it. So my target is minimum 10 minutes of meditation every day. I also have a journaling target, and I also have a target to connect more fully with some of my friends as well. So that's how I'm sort of tracking these things. So I'm very excited to see if I do this, by doing this consistently, because I've only been at it a week and already I'm very, very impressed with the results, to see what life is like if I do this consistently every day for the next 6 months, and then kind of come back and I'll report back to you guys on how it is. So very excited to bring you more content, more ways to engineer your emotions and your energy. So I think that's going to wrap up today's episode. So again, find me, justinwink.com. The last name's as easy as a bat of an eye, but it's spelled with an E-N-C-K instead of W-I-N-K, Justin, W-E-N-C-K. You can also find me on Facebook. Hit me up. Let me know what you think. Thank you very much.